Hello, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football and pro wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button, drop a like on the video, and share the content. Joining me for the Monday mashup, our resident referee, all the way from Stockley Park, West Dublin, Marky. How are we?
How's it going, cuz? Thanks for having me back on again.
We had a few decisions this weekend as well, didn't we?
Little few, not as many as the last few weekends. And Mikel Arteta seemed happy enough, so that's the main thing.
Absolutely, but a couple of teams are coming under pressure at the moment. Didn't seem as happy about it, but we will go through them with our Premier League review. Also, I suppose we have to touch on Sir Bobby Berry today. So an emotional day for Man United fans all around the world, I would imagine. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I was watching it with the girls. I was off today, so I was sitting in the sitting room watching it there. I was getting a bit I got a little bit teary when I seen the hearse driving down Sir Matt Busby Way down by the Holy Trinity statue, and the fair play big crowd outside Old Trafford, and then the cameras were also outside the Manchester Cathedral as well. So just seeing all the people coming in, from past to present, Prince William and all was there, just shows you how much he meant to everyone. And if it just feels like a little bit Man United has been buried today, that sort of way.
Yeah, it kind of, I suppose, looking from the outside in and the Munich disaster and all that kind of thing, it's a kind of like it's just another one of those things, isn't it? It's kind of like it brings back so much of the history of the club and various things like that. And also, I'd imagine it was very emotional for a lot of you guys and stuff like that. I didn't get to see any of it because we got hit by storm Debbie last night and this morning, and I was cleaning up everywhere yesterday.
For family reasons, the family didn't want it being broadcast, so it was a private ceremony. But I watched the build up and then I watched after as well, and yeah, like you said, from the Munich air disaster right the way through to being ambassador for the club and being there, you could write a film about his life, really, what he went through, but he was so humble and he would never acted the big I am as well, which, is just a testament to his character, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anyone who speaks about him, even prior to him even being close to ever passing away or anything like that, only had good stuff to say about the man, and that he was an absolute gentleman, so no surprise at all. But listen, rest in peace, or Bobby, and laid to rest today finally. So, yeah, we move on. Let's check out some of the OGs in the chat before we go into Stephen's in. Come on, you hammers! Absolutely. R.I.P. Sir Bobby. Daz is in. Big up, Daz. What's the crack, Niall and Mark?
How are you, Daz? You all right, buddy?
Morris is in. Evening, bearded gents. Not so bearded. More tashed than bearded at this stage now, but not too bad. All right, Morris. And Morris back in. Evening, Daz. Looking forward to the dissection of Shelby's Screamer. We have, don't worry, I put a slide together with Shelby and with the Marco. Did you see the Marcos for Inter as well?
Yeah.
Tasty.
I had a feeling, before they came on, I had a feeling John Joe Shelby is going to be brought up. I just had a feeling.
For some strange reason, of course.
I don't know why.
Reason. And Rowan's in the carseway. Hey, evening, lads. Good to see you. And thanks for joining us.
Evening, Deedles. All the way from Kill.
Right. Let's get in and we'll dissect down through these, and then we'll have a bit of fun talking about some other stuff afterwards. Don't forget, folks, of course, I have to remember it is the 18th anniversary of the passing of the late, great Eddie Guerrero today as well. So don't forget, check out the channel. I uploaded a show we did remembering Eddie Guerrero that we recorded probably about 2 years ago, myself and Eno on the Pod.
I listened to a bit of earlier. Very good.
So make sure you check that out. Yeah, we have some really good ones there in the bank that we re-release every year when these things come around. Also, we are on the road to Survivor Series as well, so you're going to get a lot of wrestling content over the next week or two with it being international break, because me and Marky just don't like international break. So there you go. So we're going to be doing stuff like that. So you're going to get various look backs on different Survivor Series matches and all that kind of stuff over the next couple of weeks. So sure to be fun. Make sure you check them out. They were recorded a while ago, but they're all good fun looking back at some of those classic stuff and all. I take Shelby over Havertz and Mount.
Maybe Havertz, Mount. I'll give him a chance. I thought he done very well when he came on Saturday.
18 years since Eddie. Gosh, we are old. 18
Big
years.
Time.
18.
Big time.
Where's that 18 years gone? Right, let's get into it. Wolves 2, Spurs 1. Myself and Darren were on the Thursday Tier Talk the other night, and we said this would not surprise us at all if this happened, but the nature in which it happened was a little bit crazy. What was your thoughts on this one? Brennan Johnson getting the boys off to a great start early on as well.
Yeah, he did. Obviously, Liverpool's favourite time slot on a Saturday morning to start us off for the weekend. But yeah, Brennan Johnson, I was delighted for him. He obviously done really well with Forest, banging in the goals in the Championship for them. And then, listen, he got the move to Spurs. Remember I said on Monday night I was disappointed for him. He was the one taken off when Romero got sent off to change things up. But he did well on Saturday. But it was always going to be difficult when Eric Dyer is playing centre half, isn't it? You always feel as an opposition you have half a chance. And the first goal, what a finish, the way he took it down and the way he slotted away, it was a great finish. And the momentum was with Wolves then. Spurs just looked dead on their feet, didn't they? The last kind of 10, 15 minutes and stuff like that. You just felt Wolves. It was like the fans were sucking the ball into the goal. You just knew they get the winner. But yeah, listen, it was bound to happen, wasn't it? Spurs weren't going to go so many games unbeaten, and then it happened against Chelsea the other night. Obviously, going to Wolves has been tough. They've been playing some good football this season, not necessarily getting the results all the time, but you can see they have it in them. And yeah, I'd say I was a little shocked. I would have expected a draw there, but great result for Wolves.
Did you see the video afterwards of Gary O'Neill in the dressing room talking to the players?
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? Brilliant. Like,
yeah, really what you want to see and stuff like
that. That's what it's about. Like, they're the type of things we don't see too often. You seen the celebration when he went over towards the fans and stuff like that at the end, and yeah, it was great. Kind of put a lump in your throat listening to it, wouldn't it? Like,
he's not being serious about Mount, by the way. Morris, you should have known by the tone he wasn't being serious about Mount.
Oh, I know Morris. Don't worry.
Here's the good one for Morris. So Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. Fabio Vieira, the teabag out of prison break, getting sent off with a red.
He's only on the pitch.
Yeah, but Trossard again. I really like Trossard. I think he's a
baller, he's lethal, isn't he? Lethal,
yeah.
Absolute lethal. He hadn't been starting too much. He's kind of coming off the bench a lot for them and stuff like that. But great win. Obviously, like I said, Mikel was very happy with AAR and the officials on Saturday after winning. But Burnley asked a few questions of them, I have to say. And look, we're going to see that with Burnley over the course of the season. But unfortunately, they don't have the quality there to stay up, I don't think. But yeah, the Vieira one, he was only on the pitch. It's not a nice one. He hasn't got many opportunities in that Arsenal team. I know when he came in, he looked lively and he's found it difficult. And obviously that won't help him now with a 3-match ban as well. But listen, they're back to winning ways now and see what happens, especially with the result yesterday.
What's your thoughts on Vincent Kompany? Darren's thoughts at the moment are they'll stick with him. There's no reason for the change. What's your thoughts there? Do you think it's getting close now to a change might need to happen?
I don't necessarily think. Like I said, I think I said it a few weeks ago. And the style he's playing is different, obviously, to what Sean Dyche played. He's actually trying to play football, and he obviously got them up there in spectacular way. The way they outplayed every team in the Championship last season, it was unbelievable. But I think another team, rather than him getting sacked, I know this sounds ridiculous. I think another team might come in for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Darren made the point that he's not in any danger. And Morris tore him one the other night on Thursday Tier Talk. So that's the follow up. Darren will be pushing for a new contract for Kompany after the goal. 100%.
But like I said, you can see what he's trying to do, but they don't have the quality of the players there to produce that football in the Premier League. It's a different story in the Championship, but like I said, another team might come in because he is trying to play that different style of attacking football and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if a team maybe abroad came in and probably took him away,
Yeah, it's a difficult one after last season, because they did so well. But I think you have to, and especially this season of all seasons, the way it's kind of a little bit all over the place.
Yeah,
you have to kind of try and cement your place in the league, especially with the broadcasting money coming in and stuff like that. And I just think it's.
Listen, after the international break, they have a few games where you think they could pick up points. That they're going to be playing Sheffield United, and I think Luton a few weeks after that. So there are games there where you could see them picking up points, but it could get to the stage you're looking in Christmas week or New Year, and then American owners could be getting frustrated. You never know; it could happen, but I just see it working out a different way. Like I said, I could see a team from outside coming in and picking them up.
Yeah, Morris made the point to me on Saturday as well when we were chatting that one of the bottom three needs to make a change fast because the gap is beginning to open up now. So
yeah,
it's not too big that teams can't. But again, if you leave it too long, you're going to be detached from everyone else.
I can't see Luton making it. To be honest with you, I think it might be of the other two teams. If it was, I think Luton would stick.
Absolutely. Palace 2, Everton 3. No look at the moment for Roy Hodgson at the minute, but Everton's certainly doing really good things and looking pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, and it doesn't look good. We played them in Goodison first game after the international break, which doesn't bode well for us considering how we've been playing. But I would have called this a draw if I'm being honest. Obviously, Palace got off to a good start, but Everton just pegged them back, and they're playing well. It's taken Deutsch a while to get them all playing as a unit and in harmony. But listen, they've picked up some especially when you think about it. What was it, the third or fourth game in? They got beaten at home by Luton. Luton picked up their first win against them. So they've come a long way since then. So you have to applaud Sean Dyche and especially the board and the fans for having patience with him as well,
Absolutely. They could have easily pulled the trigger.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think they did recognise as well he had injuries and stuff like that as well. Like they don't have an abundance of riches. So when you're losing a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when you're missing a player here and there and stuff like that, it's big for teams like Everton, because they're not a bloated squad in terms of their quality and stuff like that.
You look at the 18 over the last 18 months, he's probably been missing for more games than he's actually played, Calvert-Lewin. So it was good to get him back in the team, and if he's not doing photo shoots and skirts and stuff like that, he'd be banging in goals.
Yeah, Morris a big fan of Dyche. He likes Dyche doing it. Your next opponents as well, isn't that Goodison Park as well, as far as I know, isn't it?
After the first game back after the international break.
So let's move on.
Park, so.
Man United 1, Luton 0. Victor Lindelof with the winner.
What a finish. Yeah, it was one of those games we probably weren't clinical enough. And we created a good few chances. Rashford had a few chances, Garnacho and stuff like that. Luton goalkeeper, I thought, pulled off some really, really good saves, kept them in the game at times. Obviously, you look at it 1-0 this weekend and last weekend as well. 2 wins, 2 clean sheets. I know I read a stat there that over the last 5 games in the Premier League, we've picked up more points than anyone. It probably doesn't seem that way because of the performance haven't been like spectacular. That we're just kind of grinding out results. But listen, like I said, to take some positives from it, obviously, it's a win at home. But like, no disrespect to Luton, you'd be expecting to win that 2 or 3-0, and it could have been, like I said, if we were clinical and if the keeper was having a bad game. But I think Harry Maguire again had a really decent game, and the more games he's getting under his belt, the better, and he's becoming and more confidence. And I thought Mason Mount had a really good game when he came on as well. It's been tough for him coming in and out of the squad, and
we'll be getting around to Harry Maguire. He's had plenty to say. We'll be getting around to Harry Maguire. So
I've read some of them, and listen, I've been one of his biggest critics, but I have to say the last few games he's been absolutely excellent. Like I said, you're right, Morris, but like I said, people probably don't look at it because the performances haven't been there. 1-0 against Luton, 1-0 against Fulham. It's been frustrating, but yeah, listen, we're only, I think, 7 points behind City. If you had told me that a few weeks ago, I would have laughed in your face. So,
well, you see, I made a very good point. I was talking to Darren about this last night on WhatsApp. We were having a bit of a wind-up session on WhatsApp, and Darren said to me, we were talking about managers who still have questions to answer. And he made the point that United, as bad as they've been all season, they're only 6 points off Liverpool. Yeah. And I said, yeah, but you're only 6 points off Palace in 15th as well. So don't be
That's how
getting carried
I
away.
know. Yeah,
Don't be getting carried away. You know, you could go to Goodison, get smashed. You could go to the next game, get smashed. You
I
know,
know
and
exactly.
all of a sudden, you're back down in 13th or 14th again. You know what I mean?
And like I say, like we bet Burnley 1-0, we bet Sheffield United by a goal, bet Fulham by a goal, bet Luton by a goal. Listen, I know they all count, but you'd like to see these games winning by 2 or 3. But it hasn't happened. But listen, we're still thereabouts. We can't complain. Like tough trip to Goodison after the international break, so we'll see how we go because Everton's confidence be sky high at the minute as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a quick chat then about Harry while we're on the game, because there's no point in skipping over it. He said he feels that his run in the starting 11 has vindicated his decision to stay at Manchester United. Agree, disagree, lucky. We kind of don't know what's going on with Varane. There's obviously something going on there that you couldn't have predicted. Obviously, Lissandro out injured, Shaw out injured. But he has taken the opportunity well. But he also made the point as well that Rashford is too good a player to stay out of form, that he reckons he'll bounce back as well. And I think most of us in football believe that as well. What's your thoughts, though? It just seems to be always on an international break, doesn't it? Everyone finds a voice. But when they're just playing week on week, everyone shuts up and has nothing to say. Like, you know, it's kind of weird.
Well, but in fairness to him, like I said, I've been awful towards him. I've given him some abuse and all that. Listen, I was in the Aviva when the United fans were booing every touch he took, and that wasn't nice to hear.
I think the criticism. I don't like the booing and stuff like that, but I think the criticism of him has been fair.
Yeah, no,
a lot of people are saying,
"Oh,
it's overboard, and it's this, that, and the other." No, his performances at times have been shocking.
But
that's why he's
they have. But like down in the Aviva that time, Yvonne, my wife, was sitting beside me. She goes, "Mark, why are they booing their own player?" And it was hard. I just said that here. I'll tell you after. But listen, I said to you before, like we took the captain's armband off him. Did we make the right decision with who we put it on? That's for another episode. But I think that's kind of freed him up, let him play a bit looser and stuff like that. And it's like anything. If you get a run of games in the team, your confidence builds up, and you know you look at him. He's been for his pass out from the back. He's winning things in the air. He's looking confident and stuff like that. So at the moment, over the last probably 5 or 6 games, you would say that it is vindicated his decision to stay United instead of going to West Ham. You know.
Yeah, he is 100% starting as for England. He starts for England even when he's not playing.
Yeah,
why would he drop him when he's playing? Playing
exactly,
decent? 100% he plays. He played him when he never kicked the ball from once.
Exactly. He wasn't even in the squad at times, and he was getting in.
Yeah, our friend there, Eddie Howe, is under a bit of pressure. Bournemouth winning 2-0. The big man, Dom Solanke, ex-Red, putting in a serious shift along with the rest of those Bournemouth players. Massive win for them.
Unreal. And like myself and Deedles got out around in the chat. We just happened to, we were in work on Saturday, but we happened to switch on the game, and from the very kickoff, Bournemouth were just pressing Newcastle so high up the pitch. In fairness, Newcastle looked absolutely shattered, I thought. You know, the last few weeks with the Premier League games and the Champions League games, I thought caught up on them. And even Pope had to pull off some fantastic saves to actually keep them in the game, even at 1-0. But obviously they scored the second and stuff like that. And then you seen the video of Trippier and the fans and stuff at full time. Yeah, it's just... I think the international break's probably come at a good time for Newcastle now. Eddie Howe can regroup and recharge the batteries for some of the lads, because, like I said, some of them looked absolutely dead on their feet on Saturday evening, you know.
Yeah, what did you make? Obviously, we saying that. Did you say about Rashford's brother in Miami? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Look, but listen, it's his brother. It's nothing to do with United, so I won't say anything else.
Varane going to Saudi Arabia soon. Yeah, a lot of talk with Jim. Apparently, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Apparently, he's going to move in by Wednesday or Thursday, like that, or something like that. They're saying. They were talking about doing it today, but they didn't want to do it because it was Bobby's funeral. So they didn't want to impinge on that type of thing, which is fair enough. So the talk is either Wednesday or Thursday. He's taking control, but a lot of stuff coming out at the moment where there's a lot of changes on the way. There's a list of players potentially going out the door and all this sort of thing. So it should be interesting. But Varane's an interesting one because it seems to come out of nowhere, doesn't it? What did you make of?
No, I was just going to say at the same time, obviously Madrid knew what they were doing, getting rid of him. Like, we've gotten 5-6 games out of him, he gets injured, comes back, get another 5-6 games out of him, gets injured again. And obviously he was building up a little partnership with Martinez. Martinez gets injured, then Varane gets injured, and now listen, it looks like something's happened behind the scenes with himself and Ten Hag as well. So probably over the next few weeks we'll probably start to hear more about that, and if he gets a move, the whole story will come out then, I'd say,
Yeah, I don't think you can have a guy like Varane sitting on the bench with Evans, Maguire, or Lindelof on the pitch. I don't think that's going to sit well with him. And I think there's basically, I reckon there was a head-to-head there, and I think Varane based on it said, right, that's the way it is. I'm out here.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he probably felt a little bit disrespected, and no disrespect to Johnny Evans, Maguire, or Victor Lindelof. We're talking about Raphael Varane here now. He struggles to stay fit and all that kind of stuff.
100%.
But if he's fit and he's on the bench, he has to be the first choice. It's a weird one, you know. What did you make of this? They are feeling the pressure. Trippier having to go off some of the fans, and the fans having to go back. And
and I seen the video, and in fairness to Trippier, he's been the utmost professional when you see him on the pitch for Newcastle. He really upped the game. It was a great move for him, and it was a great move for the club, him going there as well. And his set pieces, his corners, he never looks dead on his feet or anything like that. He's, like I said, he's the utmost professional. But yeah, there was obviously things said when he's going up and down that right hand side for him to go over to the fans then after as well. Obviously they're frustrated getting beaten 2-0 away to Bournemouth. But like I said,
long trip for them as well.
Yeah, no, 100% down.
That must be nearly the longest trip in the Prem, is it?
It'd be thereabouts.
Must be close, isn't it? The longest trip in the Prem, I'd say. Yeah.
100% from the northeast down to the seaside town of Bournemouth. But listen, they've had a lot of games over the last few months. They bet us in the League Cup. Before that, didn't they knock City out in the previous round and stuff like that? They've had Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain, all the AC Milan. It's just been a whirlwind few months for them. And to me, like I said there a few minutes ago, it looked like it finally caught up with them there on Saturday evening.
Do you know what it feels like? And I don't think it's even physical. I think there's a weight of mental expectation there after last season and coming into this season that they're carrying, and they're trying to live up to that expectation. Now, we know the Geordies are a great fan base, no doubt about it. And I said it the other day, how good they are and stuff like that. But I think you have to be careful of your expectation as well, because remember, this team is evolving still under Eddie Howe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was even talk, I seen something there yesterday that the board apparently had a meeting. I don't know how true this is, but it was up there on a tweet, and they were discussing the future of Eddie Howe, which I think that's what triggered actually our conversation yesterday in the WhatsApp group. I had posted that, and then the lads came back to me talking of all the managers, him and Ten Hag and Posh should have no questions over them. And I said, well, look, every Premier League manager has questions over them. You know what I mean? And so I just think with this, we've always kind of do we kind of believe that Eddie Howe was being put in there to put in a foundation to bring them a certain level, and then they might need to bring in someone else of a let's say a higher ilk, for lack of a better word, to start bringing in then some real quality stars. Now I know he's brought in some great players and stuff like that. No,
yeah.
But can he potentially, does he have a ceiling where he can only bring it so far, and then in order for it to kick on, it's gonna need someone different?
Possibly, because we haven't seen it from him. Obviously, he managed Burnley and then Bournemouth, and it's a massive set for Newcastle. It's such a big club on all levels. And if another manager came in, you're looking at the likes of Dan Burns and Sean Longstaff wouldn't be kept on. Let's be fair, no disrespect to them, but I think he's doing a good job. You looked when he took over in January. They were down just above the bottom three. He got them up, and now they're playing Champions League football. He got them up the table to the Champions League. They got to the League Cup final there against ourselves in February there as well. So massive set. And listen, it wouldn't surprise me if they went on to win the competition this year as well. They're playing that well. It is tough for them, but managers are going to have these tough times, these tough moments. It happens to everything. You look at Sir Alex. His job was on the line. Mark Robbins hadn't scored that goal. We've had Jose Mourinho at Chelsea. Arsene Wenger. Arsenal fans hated him at one stage because results weren't going their way. But you just have to be patient. You have to trust the process. And I like him, and obviously Tyndall's there as well. He was a bit of a character, but listen, what he's done for them has been fantastic. And listen, he probably hasn't got. Listen, I know the players he's brought in, but when the takeover from the Saudis was happening, there was talk of Mbappe and these type of players going to Newcastle, but it hasn't really happened. Like I said, one of the best signings of Trippier, but it's going to be an interesting few months for Newcastle. Like I said, the breaks probably come at a good time for them as well to regroup.
Yeah, big up, Jack. Yeah, I seen that about Trent being linked with Real Madrid. I don't see that happening. I can't see Trent leaving Liverpool unless there was a monumental falling out. He's a Liverpool lad. He wouldn't have any desire to go anywhere else, to be honest. Morris is in. Christian Eriksen should not be on the pitch for United. He's finished. I said that a while ago as well.
I said one
thing, Mark, I wanted to get your idea on here. Newcastle have been linked with Ruben Neves, and I called this when Ruben Neves went to Saudi Arabia. I called it way back at the start of the season. What do you make of this? I mean, there's talk is that the Premier League are going to look into this and they're going to block these transfers because obviously it's your brother.
Sorry, I'm just going to get something here.
Yeah, no,
Daisy's going to eat the thing. No, I know what you're saying, because sure, look, we've seen it happen before. Remember Lampard signed for New York, and then he goes back to City on loan for a few months and stuff like that. Clubs will always find these little loopholes to get around things and stuff like that, Neves, imagine him in that team, though. Corvo will be chomping at the bit to get him
Corvo's in the chat. We're going to be chatting to Corvo now in a second about Newcastle and stuff like that as well. Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Howe is only a short-term manager. I wouldn't call it short term. No. I don't think it's going to happen like in the next season or season and a half. But I do think they will eventually potentially find a ceiling, or if they do want to bring in, a real world class player, if you look, a real name that they want to bring in or something like that. It might take more than Eddie Howe to convince them. But we get Corvo's thoughts on it as well. I was the same as Corvo on the Trippier thing. Yeah, no, go ahead. I was the same Corvo on the Trippier thing. I thought fair play to him going over and having that word with the fans. Because I think there's a time like the take stick and stuff like that. And I can understand how, fans would be up in arms kind of thing, especially with the performance and all that kind of thing, and not getting the job done and trying hard and a long trip, probably the longest I said in the Prem and stuff like that. So I get it that fans are stuff like that and all. This, I don't like at all. I don't like the fact that Ruben Neves can feck off on his holidays to Saudi Arabia for 6 months or whatever it is, and then just slide straight back into Newcastle on loan. Now, if we're going to talk about FFP and we're going to talk about all this stuff, and everyone talks about Man City and the charges, and everyone has to be held accountable, well, then we all have to be held accountable, and we all have to get our stuff in order, and we have to call out stuff when it's there. I don't think in any shape, form, or guise that players can head off to Saudi Arabia and then suddenly come in the back door into clubs in the Prem. Likewise, I gave the example as well the other day that if Sir Jim takes over the 25% of Man United, I don't see a case where players from Nice should be able to just slide into Man United. I just don't think that's the case. I don't like it. It smells to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't like it at all. And I know that a lot of clubs are trying to create these networks now to circumvent FFP.
100%.
So we just need to decide if we're going to allow this, then just bin off FFP and then just let them spend. Let's just do it.
FIFA have to come out and make an example of Man City. Then the amount of charges they were talking about Everton. Getting so many points taken off them. Look at City, they've hundreds and hundreds of more charges than Everton. FIFA have to lay a marker down and say this is the way it's going to be, because, like I said, it's been happening for years. Cause lads going to America, lads going to China, wherever, coming back on loan in the January for the 6 months, the most important few months of the calendar year in the Premier League, and it just stinks.
I wouldn't be even mention Stephen Kenny in the same line as Steve Clark. I'm just being honest here. It's absolutely shocking.
Fucking Trevor
Crazy. Kenny was all smiles at the Aviva. Of course he is. He's getting paid a wedge. We're going to be talking 100%. About that cracking game as well. Danny, good evening. How are you? This international break, I like it, Danny, because it lets me reset and I can do a lot of pro wrestling stuff. So it's a change for me, a change of an environment.
So the last one was 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's way too much, isn't it?
Yeah, three now in what? 3 months? So
Yeah,
one a month now,
September, October, no.
And then people are wondering why, like, injury rooms are full of ACLs and MCLs and all sorts of stuff. And all. Newcastle, Saudi, Chelsea love triangle will be a thing. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. And the Premier League and the FA have just had their trousers pulled down without realising. And now the ball is rolling down the mountain, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's crazy. Football is fake. Big up, Sean. Good to have you in. Sean, don't forget to check out the shows this week. The pro wrestling ones, bit of ECW in there for you as well. And not too much debt play, may I say, as well. Just a note as well, folks. Pro Wrestling Weekly this week won't be on Wednesday. It'll be on Thursday because Darren will be joining me for the Pro Wrestling show this week because we don't have a Thursday tier talk. So Thursday for Pro Wrestling Weekly, but there's going to be no shortage of pro wrestling content going up.
Are you going to do a beat the bookies for Raw and SmackDown?
Maybe for Survivor Series. Although I'll tell you now, we had some good picks this weekend. Good picks this weekend. If you go back and look at the show, we did all right. We were very, very close on a couple of them. Corvo, Premier League and Meltdown over Nevis, 100%. If that happens, it's just, you know what I mean? No, like if they let these things happen, like if Todibo goes to Man United and Neves goes to Newcastle, we may as well just forget about the Man City stuff because it's not going to happen. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. Danny's in. So glad we won 3-0 at home. And Max City got a shit point. Yeah, absolutely. It was really good performance. We will get to talk about it now in a minute. We're going to go straight back to them. We're going to start Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1. Emery at home.
Yeah.
Very good.
Was it 13 wins? And, you know, they're flying now. And do you see that miss by Ollie Watkins, the header?
Absolutely.
No wonder he covered his head up. I was just looking at it because I was flicking around a few of the matches yesterday myself, and Holly and Georgia were in the sitting room there. Yvonne was off at a friend's thing, so I was flicking around all the matches, and I was flicked on the Villa match for about 10-15 minutes, and that miss, I just could not believe it. But what an excellent performance by them as well. It could have been a lot more. They had a few more chances they could have put away as well, and yeah, they're looking on form at the minute. The question is, how long can they keep it up for?
Heading for me, I was talking to a guy the other day, heading for me in terms of forward players and all, and even bigger centre forward or centre backs that come up for set pieces and corners, including our own. Heading is a lost art, isn't it? Really is a lost art.
Well, one man did score a header yesterday. True. Your little mate, Mohammed.
He did.
You don't see
did
many
you see
of
it though? Did you see it? It was nearly in slow motion. It was nearly in slow motion.
Hadn't stopped, and he puts his hand up. He would have got back and got it. But anyway, we'll get on to the Liverpool match.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but a big win for Villa. McGinn on the goals and Watkins, of course. So Ollie shown his mettle.
By the way, what a finish by John McGinn as well. That was a cracker of a goal. Great finish into the bottom corner.
He's a lovely baller, isn't he, John McGinn?
Yeah.
He's a lovely baller. Really have a lot of time for John McGinn.
They call him Super John McGinn at Aston Villa.
Yeah. Why is our fans crying? We're in the quarterfinal and still just about in Europe because Corvo, they made a trip from Newcastle all the way to Bournemouth.
They were thinking about that bus journey on the way back.
Acers, Ireland soccer is garbage anyways. You can't call it soccer, first of all. It's football. That's not allowed on the channel. You can't be calling it soccer. And second of all, that FAI Cup yesterday was a very, very good game. I have to say.
Yeah, really great win by Pats. Great win. Helped Shelburne as well qualify for Europe.
Saturday night. Yeah, absolutely. That's full gear. Morris still has a spare ticket for Saturday, lads. If anyone wants to head to Amsterdam, there's a ticket.
We'll do a draw for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Next person who calls football soccer. Brighton won. Sheffield United won.
Yeah. I don't know whether I was looking at it. I don't know whether kind of Brighton kind of didn't take Sheffield United too seriously. Like they dropped Matoma and stuff like that. But listen, when they went 1-0 up, they could have had 2 or 3 after. They should have killed the game off in the first half. Sheffield United obviously got back into it, and it's 4 points for them from a possible 6 out of the last 2 games. When you think about it, they only had 1 point before going into that Wolves game last week. So it's looking up, and they've 2. I think they have Sheffield United have Bournemouth and they have Burnley the first 2 games after the international break. So
massive.
You looking there going, you could possibly take another 4 points if you played your cards right there out them possible 6 as well. So So yeah, it was a well-earned point for
Those two
Sheffield
games
United.
actually could shape your season. That could be your season decider.
100%. And like I said, massive result for them. But yeah, Brighton should have killed the game off in the first half. The amount of chances they have. I know they were missing Evan Ferguson, I believe, as got a knock against Ajax on his back again. I don't know if it's the same injury or if it's something new, but obviously I don't know what the situation is about him going, because he only got injured for Brighton before going into the last international break as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether he'll be playing against Holland on Saturday or not, you know.
Yeah, two things to talk about, I suppose, with Brighton coming out of the game. One, the Serbia doesn't like 80% of the Premier League referees and VAR. I'm trying to figure out what 20% does he like.
Yeah,
Because I'm struggling to find anything that I like about it. But apparently he likes 20%.
Well, listen, I thought it was a sending off. I don't know what anyone else thought. The way he went down on the back of his legs, stood showing and all, you know, that to me it's a sending off all day long. I don't know what he has to argue about there.
Yeah, I don't think it's just it's he's kind of another one similar to Eddie Howe at the moment, isn't he? Where he's feeling the pressure of the lift of the expectation. Whereas before it was these great guys doing this job and stuff like that. Now it's how are you doing in the cups and all this, you know?
Exactly,
now there's a demand for silverware so much, you know.
In fairness, he played a few of the young lads, and by the way, their goal, what a goal that was! Great run by your man, little 1-2 and a great finish as well. But like I said, he dropped a little Mitoma and stuff like that. I don't know whether he underestimated Sheffield United too much, but it was
they would have been expecting Banjaks from the Thursday.
Yeah, they would have been expecting 3 points at home to Sheffield United there yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting as well with them as well. They just seem to be struggling a little bit, you know. What did you make of this? Great to see him getting a new contract, of course. But are you reading into this contract? Is this a contract in terms of Brighton, or is this a contract in terms of protecting the valuation of the player because a move is probably going to happen?
I think it's the latter, to be honest with you. His dad would have had a say in it as well. His dad's a very wise man. Obviously, head of DDSL football as well, and he knows by signing this new contract, his value is high, but it's going to get even higher now, you know. The only thing I will say about him signing the contract, he has to keep himself fit. And like I said, he's got injured a few times this season. He hasn't been playing as much as regularly as we would like to see, but he's got bags and bags of talent. Like, I've seen it firsthand with him, you know. When he was playing with St. Kevin's and stuff like that, he's got bags of talent. I don't know if you've seen the TalkSport interview, did you? They interviewed him, and
what a fail, Alex Crook. What a fail.
What a ridiculous. Like, he was just laughing at it, wasn't he? Like, about, he was like, well, I'm Irish. He goes, I'm sick of this. Basically, I'm sick of this question. Like, I'm Irish. I'm not going to play for England. Like, why do they keep bringing it up? Like, it's ridiculous.
How come you're playing for Ireland? And he goes, well, I'm Irish.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of passion that we wanted to hear from Rice and from Grealish, and we didn't get it. You know what I mean? Well, I'm Irish. Who do you think I'm going to play for? What a fool, like, you know what I mean?
It was very funny. I had to admit, I loved his reaction. But like I said, I've seen a lot of him with Kevin's. Played for Bowes when he's 16, came on against Chelsea in that friendly and Dalymount and stuff, and he always had that talent. He was always a big man, even for his age. You know, I know he's 18 now, but when you seen him at 12 and 13, it was like Lonergan, who scored for Patch yesterday. He's only 19, but when you seen him when he was younger, you know, you always notice the lads who have that extra bit in them, and Evan was certainly one of them.
I wonder, is it again a situation with him being so young and stuff like that? Is he going through growth? Is there growth happening within his body and stuff like that that's causing some of these injuries and stuff or something? I don't know. So I haven't dug deep into his injuries and stuff like that. I think as well, part of the reason where you can kind of avoid injury sometimes is if you're playing and you're in a rhythm and your body's mechanics are in a rhythm and stuff like that. I think if you're coming on as a sub on a regular basis, I think you can be susceptible to an injury because your body isn't kind of finding that rhythm and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I do remember, like, as a young lad, he'd go for hell for leather when he was playing, you know. He'd throw his body in anywhere, you know, especially from corners. He'd always have two people marking him, you know, that sort of way. So he always used to get a lot of knocks. But obviously it's changed now. He's playing the Premier League. You'd expect he wouldn't be, but maybe it's the tempo and the pace of training and the matches that is catching up on his body. Don't forget, he's still only 18, like, you know. So he's a lot to learn, and hopefully he can stay injury free for as long as possible, and it'll be great for us trying to qualify for tournaments in the future with a new manager, hopefully as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get on. Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. I thought it was a really, really good result. I thought it was a very good. I thought in the first, say, 15 minutes or something like that, we were trying to find a little bit of a rhythm and stuff like that. Now I had to watch it back. I didn't see it straight away. I was caught doing stuff and stuff like that. But certainly Jota's goal was a cracker. I thought Salah was just. When he's on, and I liked, and I spoke about it in the preview that I did. I liked the way he was brought just a little bit more central, so he had a little bit less to do, which kind of worked in his favor and stuff like that. I think Darwin Núñez, I think he's going to be an exceptional player, but I know the gaffer after the game and I was talking about, that he was tops and all this kind of thing. His link-up play was really good and all that kind of stuff. It really, really was. But I don't want to get into a situation where we're talking about a front player at that level for our club, and it's all about his link-up play and his assists. He needs to bag goals as well. He needs to produce. And okay, a lot of people will say, right, really good. If he's not going to bag goals, so long as he's creating assists or opening up things and doing whatever he has to do, great. That's fine. But there does come the time where you have to start banging them in the back of the net as well, especially if you're a number 9 up front for Liverpool Football Club, who are trying to compete for trophies all the time. So it's really important.
And in fairness, Brentford started brightly. They had 2 really good opportunities. Alisson obviously pulled off a good save, and there was a mix-up in the box where your man just bleeding. I don't know what he was attempting, but listen,
the one where he was free and there wasn't even a Liverpool player around him, he had half the pitch to himself. And I think Trent came over on the cover or something like that, and I was there going, "Where's all the players? Where's the shape?" This is Brentford. These aren't packs or something. This is a good coach team.
Listen, they're very good. And in fairness, you made Brentford look like Burnley on yesterday with the 3-0 win, and I think you look at it. Mo Salah, he can be unstoppable. That, like the header, everyone just stopped. Like I said, Ben Mee, if he hadn't stopped, he might have, because Salah, it was like in the training ground, he just went like that. Like I said, slow motion, bang into the back of the net. But I thought he's done really, really well against a Brentford team who, listen, they can beat anyone on their day if they want to, really, couldn't they? Because, obviously they're missing Tony, but they have players there to win games. Alisson save. Who was it? Was it Wissa or was it Mbuena?
It was Mbuemo, I think.
Mbuemo,
and he just caught it with his hand and just pushed it.
Great save. But listen, it was a massive 3 points. You were in second now, weren't you?
Yeah, we're second. We're off City by a point, and we're in second. Yeah, we're in second.
So
again, the only thing I'd say, and I said it again yesterday as well after the game, our season will be dictated on the support that Klopp gets in the January window. Because we really, as much as we're saying and stuff like that, Salah's going to go off to the AFCON. You're going to pick up injuries. A lot of what's happening really comes through him at the moment, through assists and through goals and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's going to be a weird one, but they're going to. I'm not saying we're going to bring in another striker or something like that, but I think we just need to,
someone there too.
I'm saying at the moment, don't enjoy what's happening at the moment. We've rebuilt the midfield, so it's a big season for us and stuff like that. But just keep calm a little bit, because you seen what happened with the Luton game. You seen what happened with the Toulouse game. This can unravel very, very quickly. And it's just we just need to be so careful. Let's
question
get in
for you, Question for you. Jota should add a penalty?
No.
Obviously, I'm looking at the Highland situation against City a few weeks ago and stuff like that. Defenders holding players like that in the box. You're asking a question of the referee that shouldn't have to be asked. We've seen it. Listen, we'll go on to the Chelsea game as well.
The problem is, I think those situations are wrong as well. So I know there's a lot of talk. We heard Thomas Frank after the game as well talking about the tackle with Endo. In the middle of the park as well. And he was talking about, we've seen them given as a red in the last few weeks, so this should be given as a red. I don't think that's the approach we should be taking. I think if we've made those decisions and got them wrong, you would hope that refs and VAR learn from that, and then they make decisions like the end of one where it's not a red, which I think was the correct decision, because both guys' feet came parallel across the ball like that, and it was follow through on both sides. And
I was saying that they were both at the same height when they went in. It was 50, it's one of those on a pitch. It's 50-50.
Exactly.
Endo, I
The
think, just won the
absolute
ball and
definition of
stuff,
a 50-50. The absolute definition of a 50-50. And then you can't just give a red one way. I thought the Matip booking was ridiculous. I thought it was absolutely crazy. He was in control of the ball, and your man came through the back of him and put him down on the ground, and he gets up and gets booked. And then you're seeing his reaction. Like, it's crazy, you know what I mean? And it's just so frustrating when things like that happen. But again, on a lot of these games, Anthony Taylor, Paul Tierney, we know what's going to happen. So, right, let's get on. West Ham 3, Nottingham Forest 2. What a cracking game.
Yeah, end to end, wasn't it? Forest, I thought played really, really well. Particularly Elanya's goal, great finish, side foot, 18 yards out. But West Ham, can I just say, James Ward-Prowse, how he hasn't gotten to that England squad is an absolute joke.
Said on
He
Thursday, we reviewed the England squad on Thursday with Darren, and we said it's just when you think of who was in there, he could be in before 4 or 5 of them.
Because he done everything yesterday. He was involved in everything. His set piece deliveries were on point. Jared Bowen, probably the smallest man on the pitch, gets a header. It was literally there to be headed in just outside the 6-yard box. And then Souček as well scores the winner from a great corner kick. Again, I'm sure he nearly scored direct from a corner. Did you see that one where he just whipped it in? But how Henderson and Calvin Phillips getting the squad ahead of James Ward-Prowse is an absolute travesty, to be honest with you. And it just shows you that Gareth Southgate has his little players that he likes to, like his teacher's pets that he likes to go to. We talked about Harry Maguire earlier when he hadn't been even in the United squad, and he was still getting into the England squad, you know. Absolute joke. But listen, good 3 points for West Ham. Forest, like I said, playing really good stuff. You just felt anyone could have won that game in the end, you know. And I think Daisy in the background here. She must know me ma as a West Ham fan. But a great 3 points at home for David Moyes. And listen, there'd be an awful lot of I seen a comment there by a certain Morris about Kurt Zouma, was it?
Is it further down? Have I not got to it yet? Oh yeah, there you go. Thoughts on Kurt Zouma having more goals than Hoyland?
Yeah, well, we know what his shot is like, don't we, from last year?
Yeah, the one thing, Aces, I would say about this, Diaz has to start against City. He would destroy Walker. I don't think so. The concern I have about Luis Diaz, he's back now, the dad and the mum are home safe, all that kind of good stuff, delighted for all that. But the reality is, Luis Diaz is probably the most predictable front forward winger, if you want to call him, whatever you want to call him, probably in the Prem. He does the same thing every time with the ball. Every single time. Picks up the ball on the left, never goes on the outside, and cuts in to the right. Every single time. Walker will mark him, no problem at all.
I think people underestimate Kyle Walker. He's unbelievable. And remember that goal he got, the assist he gave against West Ham a few weeks ago, where the ball shouldn't have been his to win, and the pace of him, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, the one a few weeks ago where he got back. Remember, the player broke through, and he got back and took the ball off him as well. I can't remember the game, but he's a sensational player. And I tell 100%. You, he'd have a very handy day against Luis Diaz. I'd rather he was up against someone like Jota or Darwin than against Luis Diaz, because they're so unpredictable and they're so messy and they're so feisty in the fight. Lewis he isn't that guy as well to get down and dirty into those kind of situations when you have to kind of impose yourself on that guy to break his will. He doesn't necessarily have that way. If you look at Jota will just absolutely ruin and destroy your head all day with the way he deals with you and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And he'll break you mentally. I don't know
how Jota wasn't getting into the teams most of the time. I think he's unreal.
Yeah, he'd be a powerhouse jack at Liverpool. Yeah, he's a serious player. Sometimes players coming from the Italian league don't necessarily transcend into the Premier League that good, but whenever puts the ball's right wing, he done it at RB. Yeah, I think that's the toss. But then the problem is what happens in midfield. Then what happens behind? You know, I think that's probably what they're thinking. But I think where they're conscious of it is, and you can see it at the moment with Stefan still be out, Thiago still out, you know, Gravenberch, all this kind of thing. Who do you put in there? Are you going back then? Are you putting Harvey in behind them? Not too sure, but we shall see. Thoughts about seeing when we did that one, yeah. Should Endo have been booked, Mark? He was booked.
Yeah, he did get booked for it, didn't he?
You mean red carded? He probably means red carded.
No, like I said, it was a 50-50. The ball was there to be won. I think both players went in with the same thing in mind. They were both at the same level. They're 2 feet going in. So for me, no, it wasn't
I
red.
have to mention in the West Ham game as well. I was talking to Ben. We were watching the Liverpool game, and I said, "I'd love Jared Bowen at Liverpool. I think Jared Bowen at Liverpool would be sensational." And Ben was going, "I'm not too sure." And then he's an unbelievable baller, Jared Bowen.
And he's been so consistent. I remember Antonio went on a good run of games, and then he had a drought for a few months, and Bowen was picking up a lot of the slack that Antonio was leaving behind, And like I said, he scored a header. He's the smallest lad on the pitch, and it was a great header as well,
But I just like the way as well. He's a fierce competitor on the pitch as well.
He's kind of small and robust, and he puts himself in doubt.
It's like that small man, angry mentality on the pitch and all that. You're not going to beat me, kind of thing.
Remember Gattuso was great for that as well back in the day. Only from
Zola as well. Zola was very like that as well. Although he's a highly skillful player as well. But our two boys for Forest as well, getting them a Mawoni, our ex-player, scoring and Alanga. So unlucky for Stevie, but that's a big win, and it was a well-needed win for West Ham as well. Yeah, especially coming back out of Europe again and stuff like that. See him kicking cats into goals on the training ground.
That helps, so that helps.
Huge
all
win.
right.
That's right. Huge win, Stephen. Our first win in 4 Prem games. And questions beginning to be asked and stuff like that. So, how can a washed Saudi player get in instead of a weekend Premier starter?
You're right, Steve. You're right. 100%.
100%. Salah's getting a good push at the moment. He is, absolutely, and rightly so. Not excited for Costas versus Doku. No, but I do have to say, and I'll put my hand up because I am not Costas Tsimikas' #1 fan. I don't think he's a proper backup for Andy Robinson, and I kind of don't even believe Andy Robinson should be starting a left back for Liverpool either. I think we need to buy one, to be honest, at this stage. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I'm not too sure whether Klopp will go with that. Now, I know he had a good showing yesterday and stuff like that, but again, I'm not too sure.
Depends how he does an international break as well here. Look, Daisy's getting in on the act here as well. Look.
There we go. Look at that. That's what you want. There you go. The VAR mascot.
That's it. Go on.
Baz in. Evening, lads. What's the crack? All good, Baz. Good to see you there, my friend. Kyle Walker is super fast. He is, absolutely.
Bit like me and Niall when we hear them breakfast rolls going in Londis.
That's it, absolutely. I'm down that road like Kyle Walker. Forest and Everton are such weird. Forest and Everton are such weird teams. They are such
You're
weird
not wrong, Steve. You're not wrong, man.
And we're to the point where they can punish you as well. Jota, Nunes, Salah is our best front three. Jota, Nunes, Salah. Yeah, I probably agree with that. Gakpo for Nunes sometimes. Yeah, I'm not. And in fairness to Cody Gakpo as well, he was kind of unlucky. I could see some of the stuff he was trying to do yesterday, and it just wouldn't come off for him and stuff like that. But again, he's been kind of a little bit in and out of the team and stuff like that. And again, you can have your confidence shook as well when you're playing those Thursday games in the Europa, and the gaffer makes 6, 7, 8, 9 changes, and you're trying to find a rhythm. You can be made look very, very ordinary by teams who play their starting 11 week in, week out, it to lose. And they know their rhythm, and they can make you look really foolish at times, even when you're not, So, but yeah, spot on, Danny. I do like that. I don't want Bowen at Liverpool. You don't want Bowen at Liverpool. He's a quality player, Danny. He's a quality. He'd walk into most of the top 4 teams, Danny. He's a serious player. He said he's going to retire. He said he's going to retire at West Ham. Yeah, absolutely.
That's because he's with Danny Doyer's daughter, isn't he? They have kids and all together. Danny get all the lads after him if he tried to leave West Ham.
But yeah, Danny Doyer likes hanging around up in Liverpool with Stevie French and all, doesn't he? So no harm.
Paddy Doherty in Manchester and all,
He's looking good.
Do you remember that series?
He's looking good in small teams. I know what you're saying there, Danny, and like West Ham are not that small a team now, in fairness. Like, they picked up a European trophy last season as well. But remember, we bought Andy Robinson off Hull.
And he's one more Harry Kane anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Costas is unbelievably overrated. Yeah, he is. Actually, do you know something? I'm not too sure whether he is, Stephen. I think if most of the Liverpool fan base, if they watch him and stuff like that, there's good vibes off him and stuff like that. The Greek scouts are in our team and all that kind of stuff. But I've said it already. He doesn't challenge Andy Robinson for that spot. If Andy Robinson was fit when we come back off the international break, Andy Robinson would be playing against Man City. Costas would be hooked. And I always think when there's something like that where you're not truly challenging the player in situ or holding on to the position when a player is injured, you're really only kind of a backup. You're not really competing for the position. And that's my concern about it. Facts, Noel, we need a new left back 100% and a starting one. I'm actually thinking a starting left back, Robbo on the bench, and then he has to decide what he wants to do with Costas. Don't kick our Mark. Don't kick her. Rounds in. A bit like Mark when you ask him to work. Shots fired.
Come on now.
Last night.
You see how I handled Daisy there? I learned it from Ro because he's used to handling dogs. I've seen some of
really like it, Joe. It's okay, Aces. We still have the $3.95 breakfast roll. Absolute steal. Thank God for you, Morris. Let's round it out then with the game of the weekend. I think 4-4. Chelsea and Man City. Yeah, had it all, didn't it? Really.
Jesus, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? It was like you attack, we attack, you attack, we attack, and that young lad, Thiago Silva, with a great header for the equaliser.
Absolutely
unreal, wasn't it? But yeah, so open. Like, listen, I think City showed they're human. They can concede 4 goals, but on the other hand, they can also score 4 goals. We know how lethal they can be. But one player I did want to mention was Cole Palmer. I thought he did another fantastic game, and to take the penalty late on in the game as he did, cool head. He looked like a seasoned pro taking it. Listen, going up against a lad who he would have had taken penalties against in training for many years, you know, as a young lad. But yeah, listen, I had everything, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, like the Haaland penalty situation, we're seeing them given more and more often. Like I said, I don't know why players put themselves in that position to ask questions of the referee. And then the Diaz one, he's trying to claim he didn't touch him. Like, he completely takes him off balance with his body when he's sliding across. It's a stonewall penalty for me. The referee was in a great position as well to give it. And I don't. By the way, I just seen it at the end. Why was Potts running onto the pitch at the end, giving out to the officials? You know why? Or does anyone in the chat know why? I seen him. He was going mad on the pitch at the end. But listen, it was probably a good result for him.
I didn't see exactly the end, but I got the feeling that Chelsea were in an attacking mode or something like that, or they had a set piece or a corner or something like that.
And he blew up then.
Did they not get to take it and he blew up or something like that? I'm not too sure, but he was absolutely steaming.
Yeah, he was absolutely steaming. Like I said, I didn't get the full gist of it. We were watching the funeral and doing this, that, and the other today. I didn't see why he did it, but yeah, it was some game. And listen, again, you look at Chelsea; they've taken 4 points from a possible 6 against Spurs and City. If you're a Chelsea fan, you take that at the end of the day, wouldn't you?
100%.
Like,
and you know something? It's not even the point. It's the fact that they're actually scoring a few goals now. And not only that as well, you can start to begin to see what Poch is trying to do, because he's got a few players back as well and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been tough with injuries and stuff like that for him.
There's a better shape, and we have to mention Cole Palmer. Well, absolutely well, like, you know,
brilliant in the last few games. He's been brilliant.
Absolutely.
Listen, and you heard the interview with Pep. Like, he took his career by the scruff and neck. Says, right, I'm not going to be getting looking. And even when Pep said about Riyadh going off to Mahrez going off to Saudi, he said, no, I still want to get out here. And I think it was the best decision he's ever made.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of rounded out the weekend. I wanted to ask before we go into anything else, I want to ask the chat. Seeing this today on Twitter, which player comes to mind from the 90s when you see this image? Give me a player from the 90s. Let's see who they put in the chat. Player from the 90s when you see this image. Who from the 90s comes into your mind straight away when you think red card?
Perel Rowan in the chat doesn't know what's going on. I think he was born in 2002 or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
I know who mine would be, and I won't give it away, but as a United fan, I think you know who it is.
Big up Henry. Good seeing you.
Oh yeah, Henry, you all right, buddy?
Absolutely. He's given out because he felt that he had a break. Yeah, that's what they blew up they were on a break, weren't they? And then he blew up the game and stuff like that instead of waiting for the ball to go out, kind of thing and stuff. Yeah,
Was it they broke from
absolutely.
like a city corner or something like that, and they were going
Something like that,
it,
yeah. And then he blew up, yeah, and Poch was steaming, like, and I get it, you know what I mean? But listen,
100%.
he was just being salty.
Could have been right.
He
Did you
refused
refuse to
take
shake hands
consent.
with Pep?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you see that the other night as well with Toulouse, where the Toulouse player went to shake Darwin's hand and Darwin went to shake and pulled away and walked off? Yeah,
I didn't see that now, but I hate
yeah.
that's when you see things. Do you remember the ball boy for Chelsea years ago for Gerrard? He goes like that and goes like that. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, the Holland penalty as well. Yeah, it's a weird one when you look at the Newcastle one, the Anthony Gordon one as well. Like, and you see he did tug on Cucurella first, and then he kind of tugged Cucurella to get by him, and then Cucurella kind of tugged him back. But also,
like you said, Hoyland was City got one off Hoyland a few weeks ago as well. You know,
Yeah.
I don't see Chris Smalling used to do it from set pieces all the time. They'd be dragging a shot like his jersey, and I'm like, lads, why are you doing it? Why are you even giving the referee a chance to make a decision, give a penalty, like, you know?
Ian reckons you resemble a young Elvis Presley. Why do you think we call him Baby Elvis?
Well, Ian, in a past life, I was an Elvis tribute artist about 10 stone ago, and I had the beard.
And has been to Graceland.
To be honest, I did a gig for Cliff Richard and the Shadows down in the INEC in the Glen Eagles as Elvis Presley as well. So yeah, it's fun. I breakfast with Elvis's band in 2003, the TCB band and Jordanaires in the Morrison Hotel. So that was good, you know.
Yeah. If Poch gets rid of Nketiah, Jackson up front for Tony, that would be great for them. Absolutely, Danny. I'm glad we have 5 quality attackers. Absolutely. It's just getting the right mix out, Danny, isn't it? At times when he makes those changes, it just looks a little bit weird. Stevens in. Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Did you see Morris posted in there about Gus Poyet? Did you see that story that came out today?
No.
Apparently, he hasn't been paid in 8 months from the Greek Federation.
No,
that's why he was. That's why he was flaunting with the Ireland job.
Okay, yeah. In the press conference, they were. Yeah, I remember that now.
Well, Stephen's going Roy Keane for the red card. Get them in there, folks. Who are we thinking? Red card.
That's who would have been mine. And if you had a stuck a yellow card up there, I would have said Lee Cartermold off Sunderland. He always had a yellow card in him, but not from the 90s. He was more naughty.
There's a great show. Vinnie Jones,
yeah, Jesus.
Vieira and Keane, absolutely. Yeah, I can't hear the chat. Yeah, Keane, absolutely. Paul Gasly, no.
Vinnie Jones.
Speaking of Vinnie Jones and Paul Gascoigne, there's a combination for you.
Yeah.
Stan Collymore.
Yeah. I think he got a few more red cards off the pitch than he did on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my only concern, Danny, is January. What we're going to do in January. I know we're not overly exposed, but I think that's kind of that moving month and stuff like that. And especially if we are maybe going to bring in 1 or 2 players as well, they're going to have to bed in as well with that little bit of upheaval. But let's say maybe the players are going to step up when Salah moves out into the AFCON. You've seen it with Spurs, how the players have stepped up when Harry Kane went off to Germany and stuff like that. I know they're on a bit of a pickle at the moment, and I don't see Ange getting manager of the month for the 4th consecutive month. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, it's our midfield that lacks tempo sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's just again, it's playing players out of position. You got Alexis in a 6. You got Endo in a 6. Not too sure. Gravenberch kind of in and out a little bit. You know, Dominic just fell off his form the last two games, bar this game and stuff, and also, you know, going with Roy Keane. Oh yeah, absolutely. Morris is going. Paolo Di Canio. Great show. Headphones are crap.
I'm actually looking at it.
Yeah, it might not be your headphones, Henry. There's lots of stuff going on with YouTube at the moment and stuff like that. If people aren't using VPNs and all. I've had problems last week and the week before with sound and with the mic and stuff like that. Seems to have cleared up now. I will listen to Miles and I'll see. Enjoy your video. Cheers, pal. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
No, I Googled it there. The players with the most Premier League red cards. There's 3 players on 8 red cards
Lee Boyer.
Yeah, no,
No. Acer just said Lee Boyer. Acer just said Lee Boyer.
Yeah, Patrick Vieira has 8 red cards. Then one that I would have. Now that you look at it, it's always, in hindsight. Duncan Ferguson has 8 red cards.
Big dunk, yeah.
Big dunk, yeah. And then an Irish centre half.
Okay.
Who are you going for? Have a guess. 8 red cards.
Don't know. Go on.
Richard Dunn.
Richie Dunn, yeah. Richie Dunn.
It's mad. If you had said what Irishman has the most red cards in Premier League history, you probably would have said Roy Keane. But yeah, Richard Dunn has 8. Roy Keane has 7. Vinnie Jones has 7. Lee Cattermole has 7. I mentioned him earlier on. I didn't even look at it.
Yeah. Great show.
And Alan Smith has 7 red cards as well.
Alan Smith, yeah.
Yeah, he was a bit feisty, wasn't he, when he was in his Leeds days? I know when he got to us, he picked up a bit more.
Picked up 2 for United, didn't he? I think, if I can remember right.
And then he obviously had that terrible injury at Anfield that time and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Patrick Vieira.
Stephen's on about when the Canio floored the ref. You mean when he did the finger poke at Doom? Yeah. The finger poke at Doom, basically.
Sheffield Wednesday against Arsenal, wasn't it? And the funniest was when he's going off the pitch and Nigel Winterburn's going over, giving him all that. And he goes like that, Nigel Winterburn bleeding. Oh, brilliant.
Well, Acers came in and said, well done, Acers.
Yeah, spot on, Acers. Well done, man.
Yeah, it was just a bit of fun. Wanted to get your thoughts as well on this. They're obviously meeting this week, apparently, the IFAB, to begin talks over the first major VAR changes. What would you like to see changed? I see was there any truth to that the other day? They were advertising for people with no experience. Did you see that?
I read about it. I don't know how true or not it is. I didn't kind of read any more into it, but I've been saying, listen, how long have I been coming on here saying it, that we need more people, more training?
Hang on. I have to stop you here. Do any of you remember Julian Dix for West Ham? Stephen, yes. I'm a Liverpool fan. You're asking me, do I remember Julian Dix? Do I remember Julian Dix? Good Lord.
The old West Ham jersey then as well. Dr. Martin's on it and all, Well, yeah, geez, he was some player, wasn't he? Bleeding go right through you would.
He was disgraceful for us. He was useless. And he he cost Souness his job. Souness brought him in as the replacement for... Who was he replacing? He wouldn't have been replacing Hansen. He brought him in to replace someone, and he was expected to be the next big thing. And Souness put all his eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
And he basically cost Souness his job, basically. He was horrific. He was unbelievable for West Ham. And I know he was a hard boy and stuff like that.
Well, because you had him at the back and John Hartson up front. Hartson wouldn't take any crap up. Remember, it was who did he kick in training? Remember John Hartson booted someone in training? Or something Berlovic or something like that.
Berkovic.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, he kicked him in the head in training and stuff like. But they had some.
Nearly punted his head through the posts.
Yeah, and the pictures got through to the papers as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, now listen, the VAR. Yeah, listen, something has to change because it's working in so many other leagues without it being in the newsworthy columns every weekend. There needs to be more training, more people involved. Like I said to you years ago, 2012, and when this was first coming in and talks were about it, David Ellery, like I said, approached so many. I think there was 52 former players he approached to get them involved to learn the laws of the game and I think only 2 or 3 said yeah it was, but there has to be changes. We can't be coming into weekends not trusting what the tools that are there to help referees as well,
Any Julian Dix action figures to go with the 2 lads in the shop. Morris, I found out Morris as well. They're not the Dicks. Do you know who they are? They're Gemini. They're Gemini. They're not the Dicks. They're Gemini. There you go. I was laughing about
it. There's Earthquake and Typhoon, Julian Dix and John Harton figures available.
Yeah, absolutely. But go on. Give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts on this. Go on.
Well, like I said, I think there's more investment has to be made from the FA into the training in which it's used. You have the technology there, but at the end of the day, it's still humans using the technology. So you're still going to get human error and differences in opinions. But if you have more people using the machinery and the tools that are there, I think you'll get less and less scenarios that we've seen over the course of the last few seasons. I think I just
automated offside. The
yeah,
European one that has to come in.
Yeah, the automated offside had been used in Holland a few seasons ago as in a few preseason friendlies as they tried it out like a trial run, and it went really, really well. So it'd be great to see it introduced as well, But it's like so many things, like all these things have been trialed. The VAR was trialed in Holland in 2012, and only got to us a few years ago. Well, to England a few years ago, obviously, but the training is the main thing. Investment from the FAI is the main thing, and I've said it till I'm blue on the face on here before. And I don't think anything will change up until they invest more money into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Mark Lawrenson was there. I'm just trying to let that bed in there. Mark Lawrenson was replaced by Julian Dix. What was Sooners thinking? And this was a huge move. This was a huge move at the time. It was crazy. Crazy stuff. Give us your thoughts on United at the moment. A lot of talk coming out at the moment. We've seen some of the heat Rashford's been getting talk of. So Jim Ratcliffe going in by about Wednesday or Thursday and stuff like that to take over that position and take over the sporting side of the club and all that kind of talk. Talk of current CEO, I think it's Arnold and Murta both going out the door. That's the talk at the minute, and they're going to be replaced. Director of football coming in. It's talk that a number of players are going to be heading by the sounds of things out to Saudi. I think he's talking about Sancho, Martial, and Varane. What did you make of the links today that apparently a number of clubs want Bruno Fernandes and they're going to be offering somewhere in the region of, I think it was £88 million or €100 million. Would you take it? Would you not take it? Do you think it's time he's 29 now? Is it time to cash in?
I take it at this moment in time. I take it. No two ways about it. I take the 100 million and invest it in a younger player that doesn't moan and shout through a whole match and not concentrate on his own game. Listen, I've said it from the start. 25% Jim Ratcliffe's coming in, looking after the football side of things. Is it the best scenario for the club at the minute? No. Would we prefer the Glazers out? Yes. But is it happening? Yeah. So as a fan, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to stick with the process and see what happens. Obviously, Ten Hag would have been in discussions with the board and stuff like that, so he knows what's going to be involved over the next few months and stuff like that. And the players that you talked about there, listen, they're all sellable, and even the man on the screen there left of Ten Hag, you could sell as well. There's a lot of dead wood there, and it's just how to replace them is the next big question.
Yeah, Morris, I met a fella who was a photographer for Sims a few weeks back, and I told him about his Vidic Torres comments on RTE. He was going to show him a week later. Absolutely. Sell Rashford as well, Rowan reckons.
Jesus, Deedles, we agree on something for once. That's mad.
There you go. What do you think in terms of Ten Hag? I mean, are we talking about survival football here potentially going? Or are you thinking, with what he's trying to muddle through and everything that's going on at United and stuff like that, the performances aren't great. The football's not appealing on the eye, but some of the results are still happening. I suppose Champions League or potentially into Europa League is going to be a defining moment in terms of a decision on Erik Ten Hag, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I felt sorry for him, to be honest with you, with the amount of stuff that he's had to put up with. I don't think any other manager in the league before him has had to put up with. It's the off-stuff issues with Mason Greenwood. You've had Sancho, the Ronaldo situation when he first came in and stuff like that as well. Anthony, the takeover. We've had injuries, but like I said here before, every club goes through a period where they have injuries. That's how you deal with them, and how you use your squad. That's what a squad of 25 is there for, is to use them. You said the results have been there. The performances haven't. I don't like. The one thing I don't like about him is he keeps persisting on trying to play Marcus Rashford in the starting 11 week in, week out, and when it's not working, so he's had a lot to put up with. I say stick with him. We'll see what happens with Sir Jim coming in and whether there be investment there, what players go out in January and who he brings in. I think we'll decide a lot. And then we'll look at it around Easter time and say, right, see what position he's in. Then I'd rather go out of Europe altogether than qualify in the drop down. Sorry, to the Europa League. If I'm being completely honest,
you get the feeling with a lot. The only problem with that is you're cutting off another pathway potentially back to the Champions League if you're not guaranteed top 4. And the talk at the moment, with the way the teams are performing in the Champions League, we may not get that 5th place. That's the talk at the moment.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. But like at the moment, the way we're playing, you'd concentrate on the league rather than playing the extra games in the Europa League. Now, listen, you could go to the Europa League and start the likes of Pellistri and Daniel Gore and all these types of players and see where you can go from there. But at this moment, listen, mathematically, we can still qualify, for the next round. Let's see how we get on at Galatasaray. It's going to be a tough game. Obviously, Bayern Munich last game at home. They're already going to be qualified. They're probably not going to play a full team. Let's be realistic. We're clinging on. There's still a little bit of hope there as well.
Yeah, if Ten Hag had any brains, just get destroyed by Galatasaray and Bayern Munich in the last 2 games. And yeah, I assume, Mason, you're talking in terms of heading out the door then with a payoff and heading back to Ajax or something like that, maybe, as opposed to United aren't Champions League standard. Not at the moment. I don't know. I get the feeling. Do you get the feeling there's a lot of players at United? I'm not saying they've necessarily down skilled, but there's a lot of players playing like they're waiting for change to happen to motivate them to get back playing. Now, I don't know whether that changes the ownership stuff. I don't know whether that changes players coming back from injury or players coming in. I don't know whether it's a managerial change, but it's like, especially Rashford there, he seems like he's waiting on something to happen to trigger him to go start playing or something like that. Because he can't be as bad as he's shown at the moment.
Well, he played well, didn't he? And he got the new contract, and then his standards was completely dropped. Doesn't want to know when he hasn't got the ball at his feet. He doesn't want to know at all. He's as lazy as they come. It's such a tough situation, like I said, for Ten Hag. Personally, if we don't qualify, I'd rather go out of Europe altogether, concentrate in the league and maybe the FA Cup and stuff like that. I know that sounds silly, but it's something that I think that he should do. But there's big changes hopefully coming. Yeah, listen, the player situation. I don't know if you've seen that interview that John Obi Mikel had on TalkSport. Did you see it? About the player power at Chelsea,
Yeah, saying Martin O'Neill was ripping into him today over it, actually.
I've seen that as well, yeah. I love that they played the clip and then it cuts back to Martin O'Neill and he says he's dumbfounded. But that happens, player power happens. We've seen it. Ronaldo tried to take over the dressing room and he came back and stuff and it didn't happen. He got his knickers in a twist and got the move over to Saudi Arabia. So it can happen. Players can down tools, but they shouldn't. They're paid by the club to play football. And that's their job. It doesn't matter who's in charge. You're there to play for the badge. You're getting paid by the club. It's not as if you're, if you don't play well, your money gets taken off you, which I think it should at times. So yeah, it's ridiculous. They're all prima donnas.
Yeah. Right. Morris's section here. Let's talk. John Joe Shelby. What a goal. What a beautiful goal by him. And it's I always find it weird as well when you look at those jerseys where the name is at the top and the player's name is down the bottom. They look weird, don't they? Like it's just
but didn't he score a cracker like that for Swansea there a few seasons ago as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he scored a few long rangers for us as well when he was with us as well.
Yeah.
And I think he's a kind of a distance artist, really, because I think he got a couple for Newcastle as well. Distance.
I always remember that one for Swansea. He was inside his own half. I can't remember who they were playing, but it was a great finish.
I know he's had one or two. Has he had one or two 30-odd yarders for Liverpool as well into the top corner and stuff like that as well?
If anyone can tell us, it's Mr. Morris in the chat.
That's it, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Larry Murphy.
Yeah,
he's not about in relation to the Mount transfer.
Morris, if you want to ask anyone about Larry Murphy, ask Rowan in the chat. Larry Murphy installed Rowan's front door in his house. That's no joke. Yeah, honest to God, bro, tell them there. Yeah, he installed his front door.
Did the door come with the lock on the inside or on the outside? Ask for a friend.
Tell you, man.
Yeah, Mr. Egghead himself. Yeah, he looked like Shelby always reminded me of your man. Maybe your man off the Crystal Maze.
Oh, yes. Man who presented
Channel
the Crystal 4, Maze. Yeah. What was Richard something was his name, wasn't it? Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think. Because he was your man in the Rocky Horror Show as well. He played your man in the Rocky Horror Show.
Shelby for the Premier League Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Only player to take Ferguson on sidelines.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
That was class. Yeah, he had a pop off in big time, didn't he? Hope he didn't install the back door. Years ago, old house before I was around. Just as well. There we go. Lads. Richard O'Brien.
Richard O'Brien, that was it, yeah. That was a great program. They brought it back then with your man. It wasn't as good.
Yeah. Sniffer dogs have a scent in the woods, not far from Larry's house. Change will happen, but the end result could remain the same.
Isn't it mad how this show takes a curve? You know, we started off with Wolves and Spurs, and we've gotten around to Larry Murphy.
We end up talking about food, drink, haircuts, all kinds of stuff. You know, it's all good and stuff like that. What do you make of these though? That DeMarco goal I thought was really, really good. I mean,
spectacular!
He made it look effortless, didn't he? He's a baller. I do.
Well, he's so nonchalant. You see by the celebration and all. It just was great, unreal.
He installed the toilet door. Wow, there's no toilet doors where that man goes.
It's good to see his body of work is still around anyway.
Oh God, unbelievable. Let's have a quick chat about this. I know you'd want to talk about it. Pat's winning the FAI Cup yesterday against Bohemians. Yeah. I thought it was a cracking game, and I said to Ben, I wanted to watch some of it as well, but there was some nice football played as well. And nice football actually played by Bohemians, I have to say as well. Played some league football.
Listen,
and I have to say the upshot of it as well. Shelbourne getting a spot in Europe as well, an opportunity and qualification and stuff like that. So it's good from that.
It was great. I was watching it yesterday, and I was obviously wishing and hoping Pats to win for that reason as well. But listen, Pats have a great young squad there. Mason Malaya, who's he's only 17 or something. I brought me godson Callum to see him play Dundalk there last month or the month before. He was unbelievable. You want to see him because he scored. I think he scored a hat-trick in that game. But Daly came in just after the start of the season, and he's turned this team around. They've been unbelievable this season. Yeah. But fair play to Bowes. Declan Devine came down from Derry, and they've got a good few young players coming up, but they've a mixture. They Bucko back at the club. Bucko went over to Australia to get a job over there. He's came back taking the captain's armband back as well. So you've that bit of experience there. But it was a great final to watch for a neutral. It was end to end. Did you see when the first goal went in, all the flares coming onto the pitch and all? Yeah. And then there was a great video I was sent last night of Brian Kerr in down in Inchicore waving a flare around and stuff like that. So it's great to see him still going to the games and stuff because that's his club. But yeah, it was
serious history.
Yeah, no, and it was great. I think there wasn't there 41,700. It was a record, a new attendance record for the FAI Cup final, which was great.
It was 43,000 or something, wasn't it? 42. Yeah, it was great. Absolutely brilliant.
Listen, it's what you'd be expecting with two clubs from Dublin both being in the final. I know we've had Cork and Dundalk and all. There hasn't been many, because people travelling up. So it was great to see, and it's great for the game. Like the League of Ireland, you see what Rovers done. They got off to a bad start this season, but really got back into it and got 4 in a row. They'd be hoping to make history now, 5 in a row next season. And like you said, Shell's qualifying for Europe again is fantastic. Duffer's done an unbelievable job there. The Irish shareholders have taken over again. They bought the whole owner out. Which is a good thing because he wanted to get rid of Duff and bring someone else in. The only bad side to that is we had the likes of Harry Wood on loan and stuff like that. So he'll go back to Hull and there'll be no kind of future link up between Hull and Shells in terms of loans and stuff.
We severed,
yeah. So, but yeah, listen, it's been a bright season. I know the League of Ireland isn't a lot of people's cup of tea, but it's fantastic, especially when you get look. I brought him to a Rovers game with Robbie, as you know, well know Robbie Gaffney, and you know, to be in the stands, it was fantastic. Even beforehand and stuff like that, it was having a few points and chatting about it and stuff, and bringing Callum to a game and him seeing live football, because obviously he's an Arsenal fan. He can just watch it on the telly. He got some, but for him to go to see a real game like that in the stadium, it was fantastic to see the look on his face, you know.
Yeah, I just want to say, if he's changing his name to Charlie Doyle and he's spelling it that way, he must be transitioning as well. With the sounds of things. He's in hiding, Acers. He's in hiding. He's feeling a bit tender over those Spurs results at the moment. The lad
he's a Pats fan as well, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He would have been celebrating. He's probably hung over today. Absolutely, yeah.
Right,
Did I read yesterday as well? Jack Byrne back to Shamrock Rovers. Did I read that yesterday? Yeah. Is it
Jack Byrne has been at Rovers. He was injured for the last part of the season there.
Okay. I thought I seen something popped up yesterday that he had returned.
Jack's coming back last season, but he had a decent start to the season, but he got injured there as well. So, and there's been talk of him going to America now and stuff like that as well. But the likes of Rory Gaffney and all have signed new contracts for Rovers.
Yeah. Okay.
So
very good. Brian Kerr's good crack. He is absolutely mad into the football. I love his commentary and stuff like that. Better manager than Kenny. Absolutely.
Yes, he was. Good friend of Robbie.
Late again, Noel, being engrossed in a history lesson about the Ripper. Check out Frank Carlisle channel. He's a Liverpool fan and fantastic historian. He does LFC shows as well. What's going on with that Jack the Ripper thing at the moment? There's about 3 or 4 documentaries out at the minute as well, as saying.
There was the Oak on BBC One the other night about it as well.
Yeah, no, I've seen 3 or 4 documentaries today and a couple of movies after popping back up as well. I wonder if there's some anniversary thing or something going on.
Well, Redbird, you would have learned about Larry Murphy if you had hopped on here quicker.
Yeah, you don't want to. Signed a new contract, Jack Byrne. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He signed. So obviously he's not going to the States then, Mark. Yeah, I thought I read that yesterday. He had signed it. Something popped up, signed a new contract, and he was excited, getting ready for the new season.
Listen, like I said, they missed him at the end of last season. He had the injury and stuff like that because he's different quality. You see, like they have the likes of him and Richie Tell there as well and stuff like that.
The Ripper's a West Ham fan, I reckon. Good Lord, Stephen. Good Lord. The show's gone dark. Yeah, this is dark side of the Monday matchup by the sounds of things. We are claiming Mr. Ripper. Stop now. Come on. Stop quick. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Show's flying by, nearly an hour and a half. Good stuff as always. Pleasure having you on. Get your views on all that stuff. Next Monday, I was thinking of changing it up a little bit. It's Survivor Series week. I was going to maybe get you to do a little bit of wrestling homework. Maybe give us your favorite Survivor Series moments or matches or something like that.
Yeah, I can do anything from 1990 to probably 2001. That's no hassle at all. After that,
all right. That's perfect.
I'm out of the building. But
well, after that, it wasn't really Survivor Series.
I was going to say, do they not still do it? I remember buying the VHSs and you'd have the Legion of Doom with like the boss man or someone. There'd be 5 of them standing there doing the interview. Do you remember the Ultimate Warrior with the rockers and he has the sellotape and he's wrapping them around them and Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty are nearly getting bleeding choked. But did they still do that anymore? The 5-on-5s, no?
Morris is coming in with the Kane versus Shane and the ambulance match. Easy.
You mentioned that last week as well, didn't you?
He did, yeah. Now his son loves it. His son loves it. It's his son's favourite one. More like 1890.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'll be on the pod, fella. Yeah, absolutely. You will, yeah.
And come here, did they not have their matches anymore? The 5-on-5s and stuff like that.
They sort of dip their toe and they go back in and stuff and do them and stuff like that, but they don't kind of have that old Survivor Series feel. I was looking back today at a few. I mean, obviously Montreal Screwjob is out there and stuff. It's not a Survivor Series match, but that's what it was on. And I was also looking at my favorite one. One of my favorites of all time is Team Demolition versus Team Powers of Pain when they did the switch.
Yes,
remember they did the double
remember
switch?
that. Yes, yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
And talking of wrestling, remember I said Richie or Owen Richards? Sorry, my mate Owen Richards. He's down in Cork. He's fighting Eric Young in December. He's the RCW champion, and he's fighting Eric Young now on the 8th of December down in Cork.
Cool.
So
hit him up. We get him on and get him to promote the show and the match.
Yeah, you'll say to him, definitely, yeah.
Say to him, yeah, and we'll have a bit of crack. But that's your homework for next week then, a little bit of pro wrestling, and we'll have a bit of
Survivor
crack. And
Series.
of course, we'll talk a little bit about international football as well if we have to. And anything that
We'll talk
happens
about
there.
international wrestlers. Eric, what was your man Wright, the German lad of WCW? Alex Wright. He was a dancer.
Morris had him on.
Like that.
He's on the podcast with Morris there.
Daily.
Yeah, he was on the podcast with Morris there I'm thinking 3 months ago or something like that. He had Alex Wright on or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Morris getting them all on at the moment. Really, really good.
Morris.
Make sure folks are checking out GP Productions podcast and great fun. He had Kevin Patrick on the other day, Kevin Egan. You know, the Irish guy is in there now doing the commentary.
Yeah.
He had him on. He did a really good one the other day.
Must check that out. Yeah, I've watched a few of them that he's done with some of the old wrestlers and stuff. Very good.
Yeah, Owen Richards doing great stuff.
I was messaging the other day. I didn't realize. I must get to see him. Because my old Wayside teammate, we had many a night and down under together, me and Richie.
Yeah, absolutely. And Redbirds in United may be shit, but they haven't lost in the Prem this season so far. Draws and stuffy wins. Yeah, don't know. They have lost in the Prem, haven't they?
We lost the City at home there a few weeks ago.
Yeah, lost the City,
horrendously. But no.
Once more porn stars on.
Yeah. I think Rowan might have a few numbers there in his phone that he could get to give to Morris.
Eno should have he had a girl on the other day, whatever Amy is her name. She's a huge following on social media and stuff like that, and it's really, she's just been covering all about her life and stuff like that, and then she went into OnlyFans and various other things. Okay. So it's an interesting show that he had on. So check that one out, Eno. Danny, Man United have no draws.
Always the one.
Good show, lads.
Cheers,
Just wins, and losses.
Wins and losses,
that's actually correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
anyway, folks, that's it. Another show in the bag. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and hitting the bell notification, all that good stuff. Make sure you check it out. If I
can ask you a favour in the chat, if you can go on to Hogan Elite Trophy here on Instagram and give us a follow. I was without a phone there for a few days. I'm after getting it back, so I'm after reinstalling Instagram and Facebook and all. So if you can go on to Instagram and give us a follow.
Isn't it a nightmare when you get a new phone, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, trying to download Revolut and AIB there earlier on and stuff like that, they make you go through hoops. But I still haven't gotten to me Revolut, so I don't know what's going on. They asked me to scan a picture and they said they can't recognize my face now, so I'm gonna have to sort something out.
That's what happens. That's age for you, but yeah, check it out for Hogan Elite Trophy, our sponsor of the Monday mashup all this season, of course. And there it is. There's all the info and some slides and stuff and all that Marky's been involved in. I had it there. It's just it's only slides tonight. It was down below and stuff like that.
No, fair play. Look, I said, if the lads can go and give us a follow, be great. Yeah, no, 100%.
Absolutely boost it and stuff like that. And if you have that special occasion where you need it, hit up Marky and he'll let you know some of the brilliant trophies. You can see my one is over my shoulder there, this side actually, that he sorted me out with. Pretty cool. My bad, I forgot the Mank Derby. Mind, I'm only interested in the greatest derby. Absolutely.
That's Liverpool and everything.
100%. Absolutely. Morris is following you away there. So that's
cheers, Morris. Thanks a million, man. Appreciate
Morris, let him know. Morris, if you're doing any gigs as well, Morris does a lot of DJing for parties and weddings and all that kind of stuff. And also, Morris, if you think that would be something that you could add to your repertoire, hit Mark up. I'm sure you could come to some sort of an arrangement.
A quick one, I know we're going off. I taught Morris the other day. I had a young lad in the shop buying a t-shirt off me, and I said, "Are you going out the weekend?" He says, "I'm going on a first date." I said, "Where are you bringing me?" He said, "Fibbers." I was like, "Oh, fair play to you. Fair play." So Morris, you might have been DJing that night for all I know.
Yeah, nice choice, Stephen. Survivor Series 90 Taker's debut.
With Brother Love.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of history lined up for Thursday as well, actually. Angle's debut and all that kind of his pay-per-view debut basically was Survivor Series and stuff like that. So some good stuff in there as well. So we'll talk about that on Thursday with Dazzler. But yeah, we'll do a little bit of a mixed bag next Monday. It won't be just football. We'll focus on a lot of stuff. So think about it, folks. And you want to ask us anything that comes up, and you want to know if you want to delve in or you want to know more about Mark. You might have a few clips of Marky doing Elvis or whatever it is, and a bit of crack. Might throw up a few videos and have a look at them if we're not going to be taken down over them. Eno's going to hit the hay. Enjoy it, Eno. I'll talk to you during the week.
Right, Eno.
Morris saying how perfect first date venue. Meanies and abs.
Oh, absolutely. Jeez, I haven't had that in years, man.
Jesus, good Lord. Imagine that for a first date. That's nearly criminal at this stage.
Big time.
As always, folks, stay safe. We really appreciate you in the chat. Of course, share everything, all the content and that stuff. Let's keep it growing. Love the community we have here at the moment and the chat that we get up in. Even if it takes a little bit of a dark turn and stuff like that, down to Charlie Doyle, Larry Murphy, whatever he calls himself now. And if you need a door hung, he's the man to hit up, apparently. But until next time, folks, we'll talk to you again real soon, and we'll see you on Thursday for Thursday. Won't be Thursday Tier Talk, it'll be Pro Wrestling Weekly. Cheers. Cheers, Marco.